Sometimes I'm CEO, and maybe 10 minutes later I'm the apprenticeship, because I have to pack boxes. First of all, the colors are ugly, nobody's gonna buy it, and second, it's too expensive. We're a startup, we're still not profitable. We do now, on a good day, more than in the 2016 in the whole year. Top line solves all problems. Looking back, I think we would have done better if...
Welcome to Sports and Outdoor Mentors. In this episode, I chat with Franz Bittmann, the founder and CEO of Namuk, a kids skiwear brand founded in 2016 just outside of Zurich, Switzerland. Today, they employ 25 people, are sold globally through their website, and have almost doubled their sales every year since launch. We chat about life before Namuk, the challenges of finding balance between professional and personal life, and also the opportunities and challenges of leading a purpose-driven business, plus much, much more. Before we jump in, I have one favor to ask. Please hit the subscribe button. This helps us to grow the channel and continue to elevate the content and bring you more insights from even more amazing leaders within the sports and the outdoor industry. So thanks for your support and enjoy the episode. Franz, so before all of this, before Namuk, I know that you founded and developed the brand 11, the snowboard brand, and had great success there. And then the snowboard market slowed down, so you refocused on Namuk. But are there any lessons that you took away from that experience with 11 that you put into practice here at Namuk?
Yes, I mean, I founded 11 just after school, and it was kind of a hell of a ride, I would say, without any money, nothing. So we just grew. And at the end, we served 300 doors in 17 countries. We were pretty young, 26, I would say. And yeah, what I took away is that I wouldn't bootstrap anymore, because I mean, I think these days, then it was a really hype of snowboarding. You could do whatever you want and you made some money and everybody had success. But looking back, I think we would have done better if we would have had more money, but more pressure for sure. But when I founded Namuk, for me, it was crystal clear that we need more money, because these days, as it's a little bit different, you're either small, e-com probably, just do your small business, or you're big, and there's not much in between.
Yeah, absolutely. And that, so how did you manage that at the start of Namuk? So did you go out for external funding to help at the start, or did you again start just yourself?
I think what really helped a lot was that because we had no money at 11, we were really creative, like did some creative stuff here, without money here, without money that. And this helped a lot. After we sunset 11, I kept the company, and then it was kind of, I didn't know what to do. We had already 2 kids, and I was at home and thought, oh, what's I gonna do? And I didn't realize that the knowledge from 11 has a lot of value. So a lot of bigger brands came up and asked me, hey, can you come here and help us here? Because I'm more of a generalist. I'm not a specialist. I can do design, yes, but I'm not the best designer. I can do finance, but I'm not the best finance. So I have like a holistic overview how to run a company. And if you go into bigger companies, then you have a lot of specialists, but nobody take care from the beginning of a production until you sell it. So this was a kind of I understood that this has a lot of value. So I used to work for bigger brands, do design, consulting, run productions for them. And this helped me a lot founding Namuk. And then one customer I had, he came up and told me, hey, I would love to invest into Namuk, kind of a seeding round. It was a lady, and she carried us between 2016, which was the founding of Namuk, until 2019. And in 2019, we needed more money, so we did the first finance round.
Okay, great. And And is that the original investor? Is she still involved?
Yeah, she's still involved. She believes in the brand. She's doing a great job. She has a lot of passion. So we were so small, 2016. You just had to invest because you believe into the brand, because the numbers were pretty low. We do now, on a good day, more than in the 2016 in the whole year, which is crazy.
Yeah, but that's great. That's an amazing achievement in a reasonably small period of time. So
yes,
that's great. So you mentioned earlier on that at one point you had 2 kids. Obviously now you have 3 kids, and obviously a senior leadership role running your own business. So how do you manage to get that balance right between personal life and professional life? And how do you handle that?
I think a really important part is my wife. She backs me up wherever she can. She take care of the kids. She take care of everything. So I'm pretty flexible to work, to travel, to do whatever is needed. I have a theory, yes?
Yep.
There are 3 circles, and if you have 3 circles, they overlap. But if you have 4 circles or dots, they don't overlap. So I do a lot of time is family, a lot of time is my work, and the third one is sports. And that's it. I don't have any spare time to do other things. So I just focus on these things.
You mentioned your wife there being a big support. I understand she's also actually involved sometimes in the business as well.
Yes, she was a big part at the beginning. She helped with the logo, she helped with everything. And she's still part of the company. Sometimes she helps doing the stores, or she has some ideas. Even if I come home with some good, I think the ideas are great, then she's able to destroy them or refocus or reshift them within minutes. So she was always a big part, and she's still a big part of the success.
That must be. You obviously have a very open relationship to be able to manage those situations, but living together must be also quite tough sometimes, no?
It is, yes, it is. I think you need a lot of passion for sure for the business. She has a lot of passion, I have a lot of passion, but you also need to know who is responsible for what decisions. So I'm responsible for more the business side, I would say, and she just have a lot of ideas. This morning she gave me something she bought and say, hey, this would be really cool for women, because this is a big topic. Everybody's asking, let's do adult clothes. Why you don't do adult clothes? So we're gonna come up with kind of a happy mom product, and she has always ideas and pushing every day. So I really appreciate that.
That's great. That's great. And you mentioned the third circle was sport. You mentioned, and I think I read somewhere that you said in the past that for you sport is not necessarily about fitness, it's more about wellness somehow. About kind of feeling good and feeling happy. Could you maybe expand on that a little bit? And maybe I'm wrong,
No,
translation. So
you're absolutely right. So I do a lot of sports, or I did a lot of sports even when I was young. So I know that it was really helpful, the competition, for my personal development. So when I was a teenager, we did rowing. It's kind of a team sport. You win together, you lose together, and you learn a lot about life. And it was always a big part of my life. Then I had some back injury, which was really bad. Like 4 years, I couldn't do that much sport. But then I came back. These days, for me, it's kind of detox, I would say. If I go running 1 hour, 1.5 hours, then first of all, I relieve a little bit. Then it's kind of detoxing. And then after maybe half an hour, the good ideas will come. So sometimes it's 1 hour running is even better than 30 hours trying to achieve anything. And also, I did climbing a lot, because I think climbing is also, you need the whole body. You need to fight against yourself. You don't fight against the wall. So I really like climbing, but at the moment I don't have time to do it that much.
Yeah. But also, I guess it's fundamentally part of the brand, from a kid's point of view. So maybe if you can talk a little bit about that and why it's so important for you that kids are spending time outside.
Yeah, our first son, Levi, he's now 16. He was really a heavy user. He was just sleeping, eating, or digging some holes outside, no matter the weather. These days, as I said, I was working for other brands, doing design and run productions. And then he came home sometimes 20 minutes later, totally wet with ripped clothes, whatever. So I checked out his clothes and I just found out that because there is a lot of margin pressure on kids' clothes, that they just use cheap materials, just bad products, and he couldn't enjoy nature to his fullest. So we had to buy 3 sets or 4 sets even to make him happy, to keep him outside. So I was checking his clothes and I thought, hey, we can do this better, because my belief is that kids need to spend as much time as possible outside to experience nature and also to connect to nature and to learn to love nature, because you only protect what you love.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, only protect what you love. Yeah, very true. Very true.
Yeah, this is one thing. And the other thing is the mental health thing. I mean, it is, everybody should know it, but I think it's clear that if you go out and you connect to nature, you learn to deal with other kids, you learn to experience nature, appreciate nature. It helps you to be more creative, more calm. You be better at school, because if you just stay inside and it's not as it should be.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think everybody should know, but I think a lot of people still, unfortunately, don't even have the opportunity to kind of experience outdoors and nature. And I also think that the pressures of day-to-day life sometimes make it difficult for people to prioritize and find that time. So it's great that that's somehow core to the business. So
yeah, I think it's really important. I mean, everybody should have the time. It's always about priorities, and we know, it's clear that if you listen to that, it's crazy. An average UK kid spend less time outside than a UK prisoner a day, which is insane. And we just need to gear up kids so that they can go out as long as they want.
Who are the people that have influenced you professionally, would you say?
My parents, I would say. My father was really dedicated. He used to work in medicine, and he was working a lot, traveling a lot. But when he was at home, there were only kids, only us. So I think the dedication is important. Then I would say my mother, she did it, even if she don't believe it, or she say she did everything wrong. She had a big influence on us. And then, I met a lot of people in the industry. Snowboarding was just a bunch of creative people, new ideas. I would say these days, I would say disruptive, the ski industry. So I learned a lot from that. And also, I really like to read biographies of people. Yesterday, the Musk biography came out. I will read it for sure, even he's a crazy guy. I wouldn't say it's leader that influenced me, but our parents sent us to the Waldorf school. It's kind of a special school where you be more creative, you have more art, you have more music, and they just try to support you where you're good at and don't put you down where you don't or not that good. I think that helped also a lot. Just focus on your strength and don't focus that much on your weakness.
Yeah, which makes sense. It's really interesting because it's clear that actually your family are really somehow all super influential for you. Obviously, you've just described your parents. Earlier on, you spoke about your wife. Your son is somehow the inspiration for the brand. So, and it's all about, kids being outdoors. So it's clear that family is, a strong influence for you, which is great to hear.
Yeah, I would say yes.
Yeah. Personally, what do you think is your most important role as a leader of a growing global brand?
I think the role changed a lot in the last 2 to 3 years, which is not always easy because first of all, it was me and my wife, and then we did all decisions, just decide, do it, just decide, do it. And then we grew a little bit and everything was in my mind, but not written down somewhere. And for me, as said before, everything is pretty clear. Where do you want to go? But how tell this to the other people, how to involve other people, how to involve the team without telling them you have to do that, you have to do that. Because coming back to your questions about who is influencing you, I think Steve Jobs had a really nice sentence. We hire people that understand their side of the business better than I do. I want to hire smarter people. So how to support smarter people in their way to understand the brand and bring the brand to the next level. This is a challenge at the moment, I would say, because the team is growing. 1.5 years, we were 7 people. Now we're 25 people. And to align everybody and to get the thing out of my mind so that everybody understand the brand, where is the direction, but keep them creative, keep them hungry, keep them that they are part of the team, part of the brand. This is the challenge at the moment, I would say.
You said, you've been open that it's a challenge for you, but what are you doing to help yourself and your team kind of address this?
I think because we are growing pretty fast, we do not have, or we think we do not have enough time to do this groundwork, to set the fundament of the company. So if you start a regular startup with 3 of your friends, I would say, you sit down, you say, okay, what is our vision? What is the mission? What are our values? And then you write these down, and everybody that comes in, you show them, here, this is this. And this was not the case at Namuk because it grew pretty organic. So it was in my mind, my wife, and then some people came in. They were well connected, but it was never written down. And we need to take time at the moment to write this down because everybody interprets it a little bit different. And this is a challenge to take the time because it doesn't help the top line. But it is very important to grow. And we've found it also that when we went to the US 2 years ago, if the team is remote, it's even more important to have kind of things written down, set here, it is like that. Do you understand it? Do you agree? Can we go in this direction? Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's really about finding or making the time to, as you said, really put it down on pen and paper, or maybe that's not a good analogy these days, but digitally, so that you can then kind of spread the word more easily.
Yes, and the balance between these fundamental things and like team building and the other sentence, which is important, top line solves all problems, or most of the problems. To find this balance, this is challenging these days.
So as you said, you've gone from 7 to 25 people in a reasonably short time. So what are you looking for? What's important for you when you're hiring people to join the team?
Another challenge, I would say, these days, because we're attracting a lot of people which want to have a purpose-driven business. Maybe they come from a bigger company, they had a good salary, they did a great job there, but at the moment they don't think it's right. The time is also difficult, I would say, at the moment, and they come and say, okay, I want to do something with a purpose. But are these people ready for a startup? Are these people ready to have a couple of jobs in the same job? Like I'm CEO, and maybe 10 minutes later, I'm the apprenticeship because I have to pack boxes because nobody else is here to do it. And can you do this shift? And can you do that? And it's such a wide thing you have to do, a wide job description, which is sometimes a challenge. And even I think for me, the most important thing is that somebody's motivated. Like the motivation is here to change something, to dig deeper than others, to be disruptive, and not it is and it is, and it was like this the last 50 years, so let's just do it like that. We're challenging us every day, and you have to challenge yourself every day. Is this the right way? Is this the right direction? Is this right what I'm doing? It's kind of, it's not an easy task, I would say.
Yeah.
But what I really like is that even everybody's, I would say, talking about Gen Z, that it's difficult to motivate them. We have a really great team, not only Gen Z, but also if you give people a purpose and say, hey, let's do this, let's do that, this is the direction. We are not perfect. We're not perfect. Everybody has to understand. We are on our way to be really sustainable. We do whatever we can, but work every day in this direction. The people are motivated.
Yeah.
It's not about salary. I mean, we cannot pay the best salary. We are a startup. We are still not profitable. We're really open here. So the motivation must be to change the world.
But have you also ever worked with or had the support of a coach or a mentor over your career?
We start with that, I would say, half a year ago. We worked together I worked together with a coach, Dominic as well. And yes, we will continue with that because, as said previously, you never have the time to sit down 2 hours and challenge yourself. Sometimes you need input from the outside. So I think, yes, this is something we need to do more.
And so that's interesting. You took that decision reasonably recently. So what drove you to take that decision to decide to use a coach or work with a coach?
I think sometimes, because it's always a topic. If you do not have the time to act strategically because you're digging below surface, there is always something to do, then you miss this part and you never have time to sit together, do team events, to talk about things, to work on the values, to what does the team really needs? What does the company really needs? What do we need to do to be successful in 2 years? Then you need to take this time, but you never have the time. So if you work with a coach, he's here, he's expensive, so you have to take the time, and then you sit down. Okay, what are the challenges? How do we tackle these challenges? I think we have a really good investor base, I would say, it's smart money, which is the most important thing for a startup. And I can call them, and we have a wide base, and I can call them and talk about these challenges as well.
What's your position on hiring people from outside of the sports and outdoor industry? So I speak to a lot of different people, let's say through my day job, and it tends to be quite a heavy contrast here. Some people are, no way, if people don't come from the industry, they don't tend to fit. Other people are, if we don't bring in people from outside, it can tend to be a little bit the same people just moving around, and then you get stuck from an innovation point of view. So what's your position on this?
I think you need people from outside the industry because the industry looks very appealing, but sometimes I think it's really old-fashioned. So you need people from outside, but they need to understand the sports industry a little bit, or be at least active and understand why we are doing that. If you just hire a person which is really good at numbers, but far away, no connection to nature, no connection to the sport, no connection even to kids, I think it's even hard to motivate these people. The good thing these days was because I was working for bigger brands, placing really big POs at the producer. It was easy for me to just produce 200 really complicated ski overalls. If you just go to the factory with these 200 pieces, they say, I'm not going to do this. But if I place 6,000 pieces of another jacket, then they say, okay, I'm going to do this. So, and then people were telling me, hey, you have to go to B2B. Just go and sell this. It's so great. It's off. It's nice. Then we went to a couple of stores, and the B2B people, the owner, they told us, like, first of all, the colors are ugly. Nobody's going to buy it. And second, it's too expensive. Nobody's going to buy it anyway. And then we just focus on our own e-com channel. So we build up the website, do it e-com, which is also easy. You can do it in the evening, pack your boxes, send it out. And I think this is also coming back to this mindset. If there is something new, something probably a little bit different in a niche, they're not so open to, most of them are not so open to try it out. And then we grew e-com pretty fast. And then you saw Namuk everywhere. And then B2B came and said, okay, can we also join the movement? Can we also be part of the brand? And now we're happy to work with the best B2B retailers, but we just need to focus on the ones that are progressive.
Yesterday I was in Transa in Zurich and saw some product there, which was great.
Yes, Transa is a strong partner. They believed in us pretty early, and we work close together with them. Yes,
it's great. It's great. And how did that make you feel at the start when you had those initial discussions and you were rejected? How did you feel about that, and what did it kind of drive you to do?
First of all, I don't care, because I knew we're gonna. Then is it as it is right now? If I go to we go to, let's say, Basel. We say, okay, we need a store here in Basel because we need a store. Then we go there, we don't find the right store, or they refuse to take Namuk. Then it's just like, okay, then we're gonna sell e-com. I don't care, because we have the connection to the end consumer. So it's take away some pressure, because we know we are able to sell anyway. But I think it's a balance. A really good B2B partner is really important, because they can multiply, and they are your face, and they acquire new customers, they tell your story. So I think it should be a balance between own stores. We have our own stores to show the whole world. Good B2B partners, I would say partner, not like resellers, and your own store, like e-com store.
So looking back over your whole career, what would you say has been your biggest failure, and what have you been able to take away from that?
I think to shut down 11, the brand, I mean, we kept the company. This was pretty hard, because we were young, it was our baby, and the decision took me about 2 weeks, I would say. And to get over it, it took another maybe 2 months. But at the end, I think it was the right decision, because snowboarding went down so fast. And we were too big to sneak and too small to act globally. So, I mean, if the winter is good in Europe, then you ship all your stuff to Europe. If the winter is good in the US, you ship everything to the US. We were a little bit too small for that. So I think this was hard. And then I've never looked back that much. I just look forward. So if we fail, we just learn. I think the most important part is that you just do the mistake one time and not 2 times.
Yeah. So no regrets then. So it's not something that you wish you would have done differently, or?
I think the most important thing is to listen to other people, and you don't need to do it, but you need to listen to it, and you need to adapt it and think, is this something for us? When the first investors came in at 2019, they told me, they said, hey, we need a finance guy to back the ramp up, and we need sales top line. So we hired Dominic pretty early, and he take care of the finance now since almost 4 years. And we hired a really good e-com guy, Simon. He took care of the top line in e-com, and then we invested also into the B2B side. So I think listen to people, think about it, adapt it to your business, and then just follow.
Yeah, sounds like good lessons. So what's your relationship with technology? Is technology something that you like to use, or is it something that, is a distraction?
No, it's really useful, but it's also addictive.
Addictive, yeah.
I see it with my kids, but I mean, without my phone, I cannot live. It's hard. It's really hard. And also, I think you must be aware of the dangerous side and the addictive side and the data side. But if you can use it wisely, and I mean, we have a really, I would say, an impressive tech stack on the back of our company, also on the website. It's just amazing what you can do with it.
Interesting. And are you already exploring using AI?
Yes, we are exploring that, and we also already, ChatGPT, sorry to say, but it's part of the daily business already. And yeah, we're exploring that. And at the moment, I think we're looking into something also to have a better understanding of the ops side, like where do we need what items, which time, and how to optimize the buy, because this is one of the biggest challenge at the moment. We have 3 warehouses in the US, EU, and also in Switzerland, and always the wrong items at the wrong place, in the wrong size, in the wrong color. So I think it's really helpful to get help from AI there.
Oh, that's great.
And the other thing is also with our kids, the screen time thing. It's a really, really problem. If I look at my screen time, it's incredible high, and I really need to work on that.
Namuk is obviously a business, a brand that has sustainability at the core of everything that you do, and also why the brand was actually started. You already touched on this a little bit, but of course, building an apparel brand that's sustainable is already challenging. Building a kids' apparel brand that's sustainable is even more challenging. So why was that kind of sustainability, that sustainable approach so important for you? Because did you have a similar approach with 11?
Okay. No, we didn't have. I think, yes, one important point was seeing my son coming home after 20 minutes completely wet. And it's really not how it should be. He should be outside as long as he wants and not get limited to bad gear. So seeing that and knowing, because when I grew up, we were always outside, always from the morning till to the evening I was outside. And I really wanted to make sure that my son can do the same. Seeing that bigger brands offer just bad quality was really bad for me. And I knew if you want to act sustainable, textile in the textile industry should last as long as possible, the product, because 72% of the CO2 emissions occur during production. So if you produce anything, something, it should last as long as possible. So this was the main goal at the beginning. And then, because I'm working in this industry since 25 years now, I had a lot of connections to nice supportive producers. So we work very close with Primaloft. So we were the first ones could offer biodegradable polyester fleece, because we were pushing them really hard at the trade shows, like, yeah, it's good that you do this biodegradable insulation, but what we need is biodegradable fleece, because microplastic, kids' clothes, you wash along a lot, and then the microplastic goes into the water. Then they say, yeah, we know, but it's hard, it's difficult, we cannot do. Then we were insisting, like, I spoke with these guys half an hour, And then they brought in another guy from the US, and he was showing us a small item like, yeah, we work on that. And do you think it could work? Could it be successful? And I said, I'm going to order it right now. Here's the order, and we're going to test it. So you have to be innovative, you have to be forward thinking, and you have to take some risks. Same with YKK. We work with YKK pretty close because they know if we test it, we are fast. They send the zipper to our factory, and 3 months later they have a reply from us if it's working or not. So being agile, being at the forefront, and take some risk is really important. In the sustainability side, if you do just things everybody else is already doing, we're not developing. So we are always try to be at the forefront and think about what could be the next thing.
That's great. I think for a brand that's still, still in the early stages of its development, to work with a partner like Primaloft and to be a launch partner for them on a new fabric is great. You must be pretty proud of that.
It was a huge step. But just trust your thoughts, believe in your thoughts, and then just go. And even with our dash pant we developed together with Cordura, I think we were the first brand doing full Cordura pants which are soft. And it took us 1.5 years to develop this fabric because nobody believed in it. Then we had to find a factory which is willing to produce only 600 yards, because normally they produce 5,000 yards up if the fabric is in a blend. So you have to invest time here, then going back and forth, and don't stop. I always tell the product team, if anybody say, no, we cannot do it, we just insist. If we believe in something, we just go forward until we found the right partner. So I think this is something different to the bigger brands, where you have a lot of margin pressure and then you just stop. If 2 people say, no, it's not possible, we cannot do it, then you just say, okay, it's not possible, let's move on. But if we believe in something, we say, okay, we believe in that and we're going to make it happen.
Great. That's great. You touched on the fact that the product is obviously very durable for the many of the reasons you've just said. Now, somehow in kids' clothing, obviously the kids, depending on the child, they're wearing the product for maybe a year, maybe if you're lucky 2 years. So how do you handle that kind of after use part? Are you offering any kind of services or support to enable the people that have invested in the products in the first place, that maybe 12 months, 24 months later no longer fits, that then they can still benefit from that durability? Because the last thing you want, of course, is for somebody just to throw it away.
Yes. 2 years ago, we launched our reuse program. It was also a good example how we act, or how fast we act. I went to Simon, which is the e-com guy, and I told him, hey, we need a buyback program. We need a reuse program. And first of all, I have a lot on the table. We cannot do it. We have to do this. I said, okay, I understand. Let us say what is really important to do. Okay, this is important, this is not important. So within 5 months, we had our reuse platform live. And it was, I think we started in January, and mid of July, we were live. And in the first months, it already had 20% of our turnover was through reuse. And since then, it's a revenue part. It's a part also to tell people, hey, yeah, maybe our pant is a little bit more expensive than the competitors, but you can send it back to us and you get money back. You get a voucher to buy again.
Yeah.
And for us, the educational part is also really important. Like, if you buy a Namuk pant and it's more expensive than the pant from other competitors, but I think this is also an educational part. We have to educate people, buy less but better quality, a Namuk pant, which costs a little bit more than the competitor ones, is in the long run cheaper than buying 3 other pants, which will be destroyed within 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's kind of invest into clothes, invest into cars, invest into good quality, than just buy as cheap as possible.
Yeah. Yeah. You've already touched on some of the, well, in fact, you used the word partnership when you were referring to your B2B partners, customers. You used it also when referring to people like Primaloft. So, and I think my perception is that in a business with sustainability as a cornerstone, those kind of collaborations, partnerships are vital to innovate, to be able to develop new things. What advice would you give anybody working in the industry to develop those type of partnerships to benefit from collaborations?
I think if you're small, as we are still, you have to bring added value to your partner. I mean, both of them should benefit. So I think it was 4 years ago, our turnover was small, but I knew we have to do ski helmets and ski goggles. So we choose the best ones. We always choose the best. Lova is a partner, Primaloft is a partner, Giro was our partner back in the days. So we went to Giro and I thought, what can I offer to them that they collaborate with them? So we went there with a finished concept already, like, hey, we like this helmet, we like these goggles, but we think we can bring some added value to your collection. So we were able to design our own line, and it was the best selling item globally because it was a different color palette, adding to their existing sporty palette. So they really like it. If we went to Lova, we say, okay, we really like the quality, we like your shoes, but we believe that we can bring you new customers with our color palette. Then they trust us, and we did the collab, and it's still really successful. If you go to Primaloft, you tell them, okay, maybe we're not the biggest, you're not going to sell 500,000 meters, but we can test it, we are fast, and within 3 months, you have an answer from us if it works or not.
It's really interesting. So the relationship with Giro and Loa, they were collabs, or are they Namuk branded products that they're making for you? How's that working?
Yeah, it's kind of a collab. I mean, with Lova, it's we do the design. We take the best-selling items, which is the Cody shoe and the Inox. We do the Namuk design. We design it the Namuk way, and they sell it through their channel, and we sell it through our channels on a global level.
So you've clearly made a lot of decisions to bring the best product you can to market. But also you've been very open about the fact that despite the growth, from a profitability point of view, there's still work to be done. So if you knew you wouldn't fail, what would you do differently to what you're doing now?
Again, I think it's important to listen to other people and try to adapt, try to get the essence out of what they are saying. So to keep a balance between growth, do a lot of products, and keep focus, I think this is a thing that I need to work on, because I have a lot of ideas. Always, we can do this, we can do that, let's try this, why not this? Here is some revenue, probably, but at the end, it's most important to keep focus, and there I need to work a little bit on.
Okay.
But I have a good team. People are coming to me, say, very nice, but let's keep focus on that.
But that's interesting that you're obviously aware of that. So I think that's half the battle. No, I think it's like they say about, if being an alcoholic, it's being able to hold your hand up and say I'm an alcoholic is half the battle. So that self-awareness is a good trait.
Yeah, but I think without a lot of ideas and thinking out of the box and being disruptive. We wouldn't be here where we are if I wouldn't do the reuse and just say, hey, we do it no matter how and why. We wouldn't be here where we are if I would listen to people and say, okay, the colors are ugly and your products are too expensive. Who's going to buy a rain jacket for $200? We wouldn't be here, because you have to believe in your ideas. But you have to find out pretty fast if they can turn into something big or not. So try, and if it's not going to work, stop it. Don't invest into things that are not working. A good example is rent. We're talking about rent since 2 years. It makes sense, but we don't have the power at the moment to roll out a whole rent program, because then you end up to be it's a logistic nightmare.
Yeah, absolutely.
But my heart say, hey, you have to do it, because attract new customers. Maybe you don't want to buy a jacket for 200 euros, but if you just pay every month 10 euros, maybe it's easier. I think this is the most important thing, that listen to the team and try to enable the team to do their best. Sometimes it's difficult because you have the challenges in mind and you don't want to tell them too much, like, hey, we're behind budget, so better we do more black pants, I would say. So you want to keep them having fun and do the creative stuff. So the balance here is sometimes it's a challenge.
Yeah.
But they also, I mean, we are really open. We have like quarterly reviews with the team where they see what are the numbers, where are the challenges, where we're going to. We try to involve the whole team on this journey, but we don't want to frighten them or make them afraid that we're still a startup and we need funding, so we need to be successful.
Yeah. Well, I think that transparency is good. I think it's important, especially for younger generation. I think it's important for people to understand the context that they're working in and living in, and I think that then also must empower them as well.
Yes, and I think the motivation is much higher. I mean, at the moment we're packing for monochrome, which will be launched so I can talk about this. So the whole team is now downstairs packing, so that the boxes will be sent out this Friday. So I think the team thing is really important.
Yeah. All hands on deck to get it done.
All hands on deck.
Yeah, that's great. So thinking again about sustainability in the future, what skills or qualities do you think you'll be looking for in future employees to help you continue develop along this sustainability path?
I think if you cannot make money out of this path, it's not going to survive. I mean, we're not a non-NGO, so we have to make money. So we have to find a way that sustainability or sustainable products are attractive for a wide range of people. And this is going to be a challenge, I would say.
So do you think that's going to be, it's about people maybe with product engineering or material backgrounds that enable you to find and source materials that still meet your requirements for sustainability, but are maybe more commercially viable?
Yes, I think it's not only product related, it's also structure. I mean, we need to make sure that our products are accessible throughout our relevant markets. We lower the prices now compared to a lot of other brands which raising the prices because we have now bigger quantities, we have better FOBs, so we are able to source cheaper a little bit, and we give this back to our customers, make it more accessible to more people. Then we need people to run the business, I mean, to understand how to set up warehouses, shipping, logistics. We need hungry people in the product side. We need salespeople which are able to sell the a little bit more expensive items. And then I think we also need support from governments. Like if you look at Norway, electric cars are top 5 at the moment. Why? Because government is supporting that. So we need support on this side too.
Yeah, interesting. So it's actually not one area. It's really pretty much across all areas of the business essentially. So what's your favorite, your favorite piece of sports or outdoor gear? Now, normally here I say that you can't say something that's Namuk, but of course you wouldn't be able to say that anyway, so we don't have that issue.
For me, things that are easy to do at the moment, it's important because I don't have time to go to the mountains one day climbing. So running is important for me. So I would say a good pair of running shoes, a good jacket is the most important at the moment.
What shoes do you run in?
At the moment, I run in on Monster. I really like them.
Right. Yeah. It's another brand going through a big growth phase. It's impressive as well. And what about tech? So what's your favorite piece of technology, either hardware or software?
Because we moved to Zurich with the office, I just bought a new bike. It's secondhand from a good friend. It's a gravel bike with electric shift. So I would say this is now my favorite tech piece.
Okay, cool.
Beside my iPhone, which is just my daily partner.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That fits into both then, the sport and the tech. And what book, podcast, TV show or film would you recommend for somebody that either works in the industry or would like to work in the industry that you think they should read or listen to or watch? Is there anything that you would recommend?
Even he's a crazy guy. I really like the biography of Steve Jobs. He's just so much into his products. And he's so strong belief in this vision to make an item really simple, cut it to the bone, essential. I really like that. So, I mean, for me, my personal item I like most at Namuk is like the high-end, super lightweight rain jacket you can pack very small. You don't see, no other brand is doing that for kids. So bring out the essence of an item. I think this is my passion, and he's like really good in that.
Yeah, for sure. With the reference, I would say.
He has some crazy sides, which are maybe not that nice. Yeah. But I read his biography within I think 2 days.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of the author for that one because there's been a few, but
Isaacs.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. The white cover with his photo in black and white. Yeah.
Yes, I really like to read biographies. Because you always can take something with you.
Yeah. So Elon Musk then is the next one from what you...
Maybe it's a little bit too crazy for me, but
yeah.
I'm going to read it, yes, for sure.
What's the most valuable piece of advice you've ever been given?
Coming back to the question before, I would say keep focus, or better try to keep.
Okay. And what do you struggle with?
Keeping focus.
That was an obvious answer.
I think the growth of the company and adding people to the team is a challenge. Beside budgets and revenue, right channels, e-com, B2B, I think this is a big challenge.
Yeah. And if today was your last day here with your team, if you were retiring, let's say, what would your message be to your team?
I keep on things you believe in and don't forget the fun. I think sometimes it's a good industry, sports, yes, but even with me, I sometimes lose a little bit fun, and then I just reset and say, hey, it's just kids' clothes. It's just bringing kids outside. There's so many bigger struggles out there, and just keep the fun alive.
Yeah. I agree, but I also agree it's difficult. Funnily enough, back in my Columbia days, a long time ago, one of the senior VPs in Portland said to me something very similar. He said, look, Dan, it's just jackets and pants. It's there's a lot more important things in life. But I think this is where technology also somehow plays a role. I think we get so focused and driven by what we're doing. Sometimes you forget to actually stop and look up and, this is the industry that we're working in. And I got in the industry because I love being outdoors, obviously the same for you. So, but sometimes we forget that. It's not easy. It's not easy.
Yes, and I also think that if you have more fun, you're more successful, or the brand is more successful, because even you cannot measure it, you can feel it. Yeah. If people have fun creating stuff. Sometimes it's hard because, top line, revenue, challenges, supply chain challenges here, challenges there. If you just see the challenges, you lose the fun. So setback, hey, it's just kids' clothes. Let's have fun.
Yeah. And do you do activities as a team when you go outdoors?
Yes, most of the activities with the team is outdoors. We go climbing, walking, hiking, do stuff together. Yes,
great. So if you could give future leaders in the sports and the outdoor industry 3 pieces of advice, what would it be? What would they be?
I would say, yes, the 3 advice would be: set clear goals, believe in these goals, set the goals big enough. At Namuk, we say we want to be there, and we believe in that. The second thing is, don't listen too much to other people because they know it always better. And the third, I would say, try it out. If you don't try it out, you don't know if you succeed. And if you don't succeed, it's not that bad.
What's happiness for you?
I think I can go to work every day and I love what I do. I think this is the best thing. If I need to go to the office and say, oh, no, I have to do that, I don't like it. So I think this is happiness for me. And then I'm going back home happy too. And I really like to enjoy time with my family.
Yeah, great. Okay, so last question. As you know, so this podcast aims to help people in the sports and the outdoor industry to benefit from people like yourselves, your experiences. So is there something that we should have covered today, or that I should have asked that I didn't, that you would want to share with the audience and listeners?
Coming back to the question before, maybe it's only Switzerland, but if you have an idea, these days with the internet, with e-com, it's more democratic to do things, to start something, to try. If you have an idea of doing something which is special, you will find enough people globally to buy this from you if the idea is good. So just do it. Just try.
Great. What a great way to finish.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks a lot, Dan.
No, thank you, Franz. I really appreciate your time. I think what you're doing here is great. It's so nice to see a kids brand with purpose. And I love where the brand comes from, the story behind it. And I think the ethos of ensuring kids spend time outdoors is so important. I know I did as a child, and I encourage my son too. I think it's because it's very easy that we all do get sucked into the screens. Yeah. So I think getting that balance and being outdoors is really important. So thank you very much for your time. It's been a pleasure. And
thank you.
Good luck for the future.
Thank you very much.
I hope you enjoyed the episode as much as I did. We love to read your feedback, so please leave your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks again for your support. See you soon, and don't forget to subscribe.